now. It's been about 2 months. I can't really go out. Spend a lot of time in the basement.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you enjoyed a little industrial hardcore to get things started off this evening. That was footage captured last week by the Miniprints rail cam. They are replacing rails just outside here, and probably one of the coolest things captured on the rail cam. If you haven't checked it out, it's not up right now because I don't put it up when I live broadcast. But it is usually up off the Miniprints YouTube page, and check it out. You never know what you're going to see. One of the coolest things that was captured last week, just after that clip, was some thermite welding, and I'd never heard of thermite welding before, but I've captured it, and I'll post that little clip on the YouTube page as well. But welcome, everyone. Welcome this evening. Thank you for joining me. I'm Bernard, coming to you from Miniprints World Headquarters, aka Miniature Printerland. And I'm thrilled to see so many familiar faces here tonight. I see that, let's see who's in the house. We've got Dwight's in the house. We've got Wigwag Workshop. Welcome, Sean McGee. We have, let's see, who else? Sparky 107. Of course. We'll get back to Sparky in a minute. Who else is in the house here? We've got, let's see, Shoy, I'm going to say this wrong, but Shoalkill River Valley. Who else do we have here? Steve's here. Two Steves. We've got two Steves in a row. Wow, just tons and tons of people. M&M Rails, welcome. Hi, Mark. How are you? And I'm going down the list, and they're popping in faster. Joe is here. So welcome. Artie's here. Caboose 121. Thank you all for spending some time. We've got a great show tonight with all sorts of fun and festivities. And, of course, a theme. The theme being Happy Spooktober. This is absolutely my favorite month of the year. Fall colors are in their glorious start. And We went out for a little drive earlier today to see the fall colors and check out some waterfalls in Ancaster, the waterfall capital of North America. And it's just a spooky, wonderful month. And it's also, okay, Sean, I'm interested in what that comment's all about. But yeah, thermite you should have seen the explosion. It was crazy. So I'm going to sort of interrupt myself as comments come up, as I usually do, and probably lose my train of thought. But Spooktober, let's get into the presentation because there's a lot to do tonight and a lot to show you. And we're going to start off with a big thank you. And this is a thank you to Zach Roberts. So for the first time, I feel like I'm being sponsored by a brewery, but for the first time ever, I will be drinking a fine brew from the Muskoka Brewery. And the story behind this, and I'll talk about it more in a moment, is that we had a day out to Little Canada with Miniprints last month. And one of the participants was a gentleman named Zach Roberts, who works at Muskoka Brewery. And he knows that I start off every show with a little bit of, a taste and a vote. So he brought me a 6-pack, and I selected 4 out of the 6-pack tonight for you to vote on. We've got the Muskoka Brewery Drifter, a hazy pale ale, with a fistful of Chinook, Simcoe, and Citra hops. Our mysterious friend, Mad Tom, takes to the arid desert, et cetera, et cetera. So that's 5.6% for the Muskoka Drifter. There he is, drifting away. We have a Greetings from South Korea, a South Korean style rice lager. That looks quite interesting. And that is, craft beer is all about community, and we could all use more connection right now. Our Big World Small Batch series, that's neat, brings together breweries around the world to introduce you to something you haven't tried before. I don't think I've ever tried a rice beer before. 4.5%. I took out the 9% chocolate stout. That'll be for another night. Okay, your third of 4 to choose from is Greetings from Germany. And that's part of this Big World Small Batch theme. It's a really neat theme, actually. This is a craft beer, all about community. Okay, we know that. Teamed up with Orca Brau, a German brewery that respects history while challenging the status quo. Ooh, I like the sound of this one. I'm voting for this one. It's a German-style Festbier, and it is 5.5%. Okay, and the final one, and remember, everybody's going to get a chance to vote in a minute, so start voting now. Muskoka Detour, I think this is one of their standard house beers. I've seen this one around before. Detour, that's what I do on these broadcasts. For those who want to stray away from the everyday, yeah, that's about right, a truly easy drinking dry hopped India Session Ale. And that clocks in at 4.3%. So those are our beers tonight, with a big thank you to Zach. That was very kind of you to think of me. Zach, by the way, in that picture that you see on the screen is speaking with Dave McLean, the co-founder of Little Canada, who we will meet again in a moment. So let's see what we've got. We've got a Detour. We've got, let's see, a Drifter, the highest. Thank you, Steve. You want to see me start slurring? All right. We got Wigwag voting for Germany. We've got Dawn. Welcome, Dawn, for Detour. Let's see. Drink and model trains. Well, I'm not modeling right now. I'm broadcasting, so I think I'll be safe there. Already. Any other? Okay, we got a vote for the rice beer. That interests me, Steve. I think that'll be interesting. We got another one for Detour. Okay, any last votes? It looks to me like the most so far has been Detour. I'm open. I'm going to drink them all. So what do we think? Rice beer, another one for rice beer. So we're tied. Rice beer or Detour? Whoever votes next clinches it. Rice beer. All right, Jim, you clinched it. Thank you. Let's do the rice beer. All right, so let's just see who they, so here, let's just says. So they partnered with amazing brewing company in South Korea. Nestled in nature with the rebellious spirit, we were fast friends. Oh, this is a really, really cool series. So thank you, Muskoka. I should probably get a brewery to sponsor this officially, shouldn't I? Smells ricey. Oh, wow. Holy moly. Do you guys see the color on this? Hang on. I'm going to go full screen on this. This is really interesting. It's pink because it's pink. Look at that. That is, here, see if I can go full screen on this for a second. Yeah, look at that. Very interesting. South Korean rice lager. Interesting. Yeah, not sure I taste the rice. I'm not sure what I taste. Let me get back to that. That's very interesting. Anyway, this Muskoka Brewery, Big World Small Batch, that's a clever idea. Check that out if you're in the neighborhood. If you're not in the Southern Ontario neighborhood, then come visit and we'll get some. Back to the slide presentation. So what are we going to do tonight? We've chosen our beer. Thanks also to Heath for that fancy intro. I hope you enjoyed that. I've always admired channels that have countdowns. I never knew how to do it. So Heath walked me through that last night. And I think a countdown's kind of fun. So I'm going to hopefully have more countdowns if I get good footage off the rail cam. So, oh yes, is that season to make your layout come alive, or in this case, undead. And I wanted to just share with everybody, I really do get sort of into the whole Halloween thing, and it's a lot of fun. So I've been innovating and coming up with some crazy ideas, and all of the mini prints Halloween themed items are all conveniently located under miniprints.com/Halloween. I'm up to quite a bunch of them. And I created something for the first time. I got my hands on some glow in the dark resin, and I've started to print things out in glow in the dark. And what I'm thinking that might be fun is, because we're coming up to a holiday long weekend, so that would be Canadian Thanksgiving and I believe Columbus Day. How about anybody who places an order between now and the end of Monday? I throw in a free glow in the dark ghost. So that's going to be a little promotion that I'm running. So free glow in the dark ghosts with every order between now and the end of Monday. But there's also a reason why I'm talking about Halloween, other than the teaser image that was posted earlier. And that's because we have a little contest coming up. You guys know how much I enjoy contests. So I was thinking it might be fun to have a Halloween mini prints mini build contest. And the idea behind this, and this is something that I was noodling around with our featured Meet the Modeler, who you will meet probably in about 20 minutes, plus or minus. And here's what I'm thinking, and you guys can definitely chime in. Everybody who enters, first of all, is going to have a chance to win the $100 Mini Prints gift card. So it's going to be basically like, you know, your entry is like a ticket to a draw, and it's a random chance. Anyone who enters is a random chance. So it's not juried or skill-based or anything like that. It's just fun. And what I'm thinking is that your little mini build, your little diorama, we'll call it, has to fit into a peanut butter jar lid. So that's your size constraint. So you can do anything you want as long as it fits inside a 3.5-inch peanut butter jar lid, and everyone's got one kicking around. And if not, go grab some peanut butter. And if you don't like peanut butter, give it to a friend or the dog or someone, and you just need the lid. So you need a peanut butter lid. You need to use at least one mini print, and it has to be a Halloween theme. And I'm going to throw this open, and hopefully Artie, you do have other items. So, it has to be a Halloween theme, but I mean, you could put a scary garden gnome in there. So, as long as you got one mini print, toss it in there. If you don't have a mini print and you still want to enter, then enter anyway, because this is all about having fun. So it would be great if you throw a mini print in there. You're not knocked out if you don't. It's all about having fun, and it's all about sort of seeing what everyone comes up with. I'll show all the entries on the next live stream, and I think it's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun to model something. Now, if you do want Halloween mini prints that you see on the mini prints page, order them quickly. Order them super quickly so that I can get them out to you. It's the 5th. It'll take a couple of weeks probably to get out the door. So 14, 19, you've got a few days there. So just have fun. It's just about being silly and having something to look at a month from now. So submit your photos by Halloween to me at bernard@miniprints.com. You can model in any scale. You can go as tall as you want. You can go as wide as you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you can fit it somehow in that peanut butter jar lid, creativity is completely up to you. So that's the Halloween mini build. And I hope people will enter it and have some fun with it. $100 up for grabs. So I hope that's some fun incentive. Speaking of other things that are new, I just want to chat, and this is a rather unfortunate picture, but I want to talk a little bit about what happened this month, because it was a really busy, or I guess last month, it was a really busy and really fun month. Went to Otter Valley and did the manufacturer showcase, the pop-up, and did some scanning and practiced doing some live scans, which I will, exactly, Trackside Mike. What is that guy doing? I think that is the question. What is Chris doing? It's kind of an unfortunate camera angle, isn't it? Because we don't really know what's going on. I guess we'll find out when we see the scan. But it was a fun get together. A whole bunch of YouTubers got together, and we had some fun. And while I was there, I also had the opportunity to scan Lauren James's daughter, and I will show you that scan in a moment, because we're doing something kind of fun and neat there. So the month started out, I guess, on September 10th with that. Then we had a trip to Little Canada, and I mentioned Little Canada. Here's Dave McLean, and here are a whole bunch of people. It was a really fun day. We ended up here at Mini Prints for the sort of printer demonstration. And then we went off to Little Canada, and there's a lot of footage on YouTube that you can see. I know that a lot of the people who were there, okay, I see Dave has texted me. We'll get back to that. So we toured Little Canada, then we ended up doing a little rail fanning, and then we ended up across the street for some beers at Henderson's. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's the type of thing I'd like to do more of. So definitely we are going to do this more and more. I'd love to host a YouTube meetup here. I'd love to, host an event here. So I think this was kind of the prototype, practice run. We had 17 people, myself included, for the first one. And stay tuned, because there will be many more fun events. This is the Little Canada where Zach came, and you can see Zach in the bottom corner there flashing a peace sign and drinking beer. So it was really great. What's that? Yeah, am I getting a hug, Sparky? Yeah, sometimes we all need a hug, don't we? All righty. So that was, it's been a really busy and fun month, but that's not all, because there's lots more stuff happening this month and next and this. And oh, yeah. So if you are a fan of The Modeler's Life, I was on All-Star Variety Hour number 44, talking about why I brought a leaf blower to Tom Stock. And that ties in nicely with one of the new mini prints that are going to be coming out this month. And that is my son, Benjamin, with a leaf blower. And that is the first and only time that you will ever see my son with a leaf blower doing yard work. So he will be included in the Mini Prints of the Month Club that'll go out in about a week and a half. And he will be up on the site very soon. Yeah, that was a really funny episode. If you get a chance to listen to All-Star Variety Hour 44 on the A Modeler's Life podcast, it was a really, really funny episode. Now, fans of the AML 55 is on the Patreon site. That wasn't such a fun episode because I got taken to task for not inviting someone to Miniature Printerland. But enough about that. You can listen to that yourself. What else? What else has happened this month? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about what's coming up. First, some rice beer. Yeah, I agree with you, Artie. I'm like, I want to scan you with a leaf blower. And my son, Ben, was like, why? And yeah, he wasn't impressed. But anyway, Timonium. Who here is going to Timonium? If you're going to Timonium, which is coming up soon, like I think it's not this weekend, but next weekend. So it's a week away. It's just over a week away, week and a half away. If anyone's going to Timonium, please absolutely put your hand up in the comments because Joe, oh, fantastic. Yes, that's great. I'm really hoping that I will get a chance to meet some folks down there, some familiar faces, so as to speak. I'm going to be doing the Great Scale Model Train Show in Timonium. I've never been there before. I hear it's a really interesting show, and I'm bringing my scanning equipment. So you'll see there's a little logo there that says Mini Me by Mini Prints. So I'm going to be offering 3D body scanning. I figure I can probably do about 15 to 18 scans over the course of the 2 days. There will be a cost involved. I'm not specifically, I don't know what it's going to be yet. There's a lot of work involved, but it's going to be a modest, it's not going to be too crazy. So if you are there, definitely come by, even to say hi or to get scanned. But the Thursday, so a week tomorrow, I'm going to be at the Station Inn in Crescent because I've heard really great things about that. And I'm thinking Friday morning, so a week this Friday, I'm going to check out Horseshoe Curve because I've never seen Horseshoe Curve. So if there is anyone in the Altoona Crescent area that wants to meet up and show me Horseshoe Curve or go rail fanning or meet on the porch of the Station Inn for a drink, definitely message me. And I would love to meet up with you. I'm really looking forward to this trip. It's going to be a little bit of rail fanning and really looking forward to seeing Horseshoe Curve. All right, so what's this? Yes, Lionel does love hearing leaf blowers in the morning. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of doing like a set of Lionel and my son with a leaf blower together. And I think that would be a really nice little commemorative grouping. Okay, I'm going to pause for a minute. Let's take a look at some comments. Let's see, any comments? There was a comment about a brewery. Let me go back and find that. Let's see. I've lost the brewery comment, but it came in from Sparky107107. Steve87 asked if and when you're going to model the inside parts of a brewery so people can model it. Interesting idea. Haven't thought of it. Everything is open potentially. If you have pictures or a request, as always, I work to photos. If I think that something has potential or enough people want them, then I would be very interested in it. I have stayed away from interiors and I've stayed away from interior equipment, mainly because they exist and I don't want to do stuff that other people have done. But if it doesn't exist and if there's a demand for it, send me pictures and I'd certainly be interested in it. I do have something that will be coming out soon that's kind of neat. I don't know if you guys are going to see this, but I did have a request specifically for, you'll never see this, but that is, oops, hang on, let's take that off. Anybody guess what that is? I know it's really, really hard to see. It's a side of beef. So it's sides of beef that can hang from refrigerator cars. So you never know. Thumb. Yeah, my thumb, exactly. So yeah, so the side of beef, this could be a really fun, there we go, I trimmed it off a bit more. It'll look great painted up, but you never know. You know, if enough people want them, and it is definitely a side of beef. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to Timonium. Definitely message me or email me if you're in that area and if you want to get together. I'm hoping that Sparky will be coming down. I hear a yes, I hear no. We'll talk about it, but that would be a lot of fun if we get a bunch of people. I think Heath is going to show up at Timonium, and I'm definitely scanning Heath. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it will be a fun time. All righty. Oh yeah, what's new? So in case you haven't been logging on to the Facebook page or the Miniprints website every single day in the last month, I thought I'd just share a few things that have been posted. It's been actually a really fun and really busy month. So we put up jersey barriers and all of these are available in N scale, HO scale, S scale, and O scale, except where noted, and I'll tell you. So jersey barriers went up, and the jersey barriers are kind of fun because they interlock. So they've got you know, pieces that actually fit, you know, I guess like tongue and groove that fit together. The gas meter, the industrial gas meter, is off the charts detailed. It just looks fantastic up against the side of a building. I did scan my wife, as I think I mentioned last time, as the Wicked Witch of the West End. And that's a really fun model. The two creepy clowns are absolutely just the weirdest, craziest, funniest thing I think I've produced in a long time. I'm really curious where they're going to end up on people's layouts. I've told you about the glow-in-the-dark ghost. I'll come back to the Hangman's Gallows because that was a collaboration with the Meet the Modeler that I will be introducing you to quite shortly. And some fantastic great horned owls. But wait, that's not all. There is more of this in the last 30 days because we've also done the Wolfman, the world's smallest portable generator, and a really neat item that was a request, and that's an anhydrous, I'm not going to say it right. It's an ammonia tank. And it's an ammonia tank that farmers will drag behind a tractor on their fields to spread ammonia fertilizer. But I think I also mentioned last month that I was going to release a set of my wife in her equestrian gear, Holly the Equestrian, and that was released today. So we found a charity, and I want to talk about that for a minute. And the charity that we are supporting Here we go. Is called Out of the Ashes. So all funds from Holly the Equestrian, and there's Holly on her friend Sarah's horse, Queenie. So all of Holly the Equestrians will be going 100% of the proceeds. Everything will be going to this Out of the Ashes, which is a large animal rescue, and predominantly they rescue horses from the slaughterhouse and give them, a nice place to live out the rest of their lives. So if you're looking for an equestrian figure with horse, and yes, it actually does come with Holly holding the apple. So I've got little tiny red apples that you can have Holly feed the horse. Split rock, that was not easy. It's the miracle of modern scanning. So it's a very large scanning rig. All right. So that's Holly the Equestrian. I hope you guys, if you want, will support that, because I think it's a fun cause and a really great model. And it's really showing too what we can do with this, with the 3D body scanning. And it really is an amazing way to get models onto the layout. All righty. Anything is possible. That is all I will say about that. There is one other thing that I wanted to mention. I mentioned earlier that when I was at Otter Valley, we scanned Izzy, Lauren James's daughter. And this just went up, I think, yesterday. Lauren is selling the little Izzy's as a breast cancer awareness fundraiser. So Lauren lost his mother to breast cancer and asked if I would scan his daughter, like I did with Lionel, and if he could do a fundraiser. And absolutely, I think it's so important to give back, and I really do enjoy doing these types of projects. And the scan turned out really, really well. So if you're looking for a little something, then you can head over to OVR Trades. They also have an amazing website with fantastic prices, and they brought out a whole bunch of really interesting new cars. Now, what are you saying, Sparky? Do you have to order Holly the Witch, so you might as well order Holly with the horse and apple? That's true. There you go. And there's a theme there. Apples, witches. I think there was a movie about that. So I don't have the Izzy, Ken. The Izzy is specifically being sold from the Otter Valley website. So I printed up a bunch of them for Lauren and sent them to him, and he's handling all of the fulfillments. And I think it really did. The Izzy really did turn out nicely. So I'm really quite pleased with that model. And it's part of a whole bunch, of human body scans. I'm going to have a whole lineup of them at Timonium, and I want to do a post of all of them, because, when you line them all up and you see, Ben and Izzy and Lionel and my wife Holly, and it's really interesting just to see all the different, scans that you can do. And these are all unique figures. You just don't find stuff like this out on the market. Okay, I think we're getting on to the Meet the Modeler. So I'm really excited. I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to bring him into the show here while I talk a little bit about him. So this is my very good friend, Spencer Barclay. And I'm trying to remember when I met Spencer. It was a while ago. Spencer, when did I meet you?
Was it March we connected, and it was about getting together and seeing each other's studios and just having the best time ever?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we've become fast friends. Now, Spencer has a studio just about 15 minutes north of mine on the same rail line. But everyone will be jealous of his studio because his studio is adjacent to the CP freight line. So he gets freight mainline action. So I got to figure out how to get a camera up in his space. But by word of introduction, this is Spencer in a gallery in our neighborhood with two spectacular dioramas that he created. one of which might be a little familiar to people. It's called Urban Oasis, and it was the entry that Spencer put together for the last Mini Prints mini build contest. And I think it might actually hold the record for the most mini prints per square inch on any layout or diorama ever created. And you might also recognize the name Spencer from this latest project that we did together, because Spencer has a very nice laser machine, laser cutter, I guess you'd call it.
Yep.
And it was used to produce our gallows and hangman. And if you see, I actually body scanned Spencer in the position in the, we'll call it stockade, or I think they're called a pillory. But anyway, so that's Spencer. So we've collaborated on a number of crazy projects. And Spencer, and I'm going to go to the last slide here, has a very interesting modeling history. So I thought, what better for our, fourth Meet the Modeler than to introduce you to Mr. Spencer Barclay, my partner in crime, and an absolutely extraordinary modeler. So tell us a bit about yourself, Spencer.
Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. This is very cool to share about all the weird things that we all get up to. So, yeah, I'm a lifelong model railroader. My dad just took me in my baby carrier and put me up on the bench work, and that was it. I had no choice. And I thought that people everywhere had model trains in their basements, and I was sorely mistaken. So, it's been... So a lot of that, bit of Warhammer, lots of model kits, and got into residential construction and went to OCAD. And so a lot of like material knowledge and, weaving and getting back to miniatures and doing big things. And so I did film and television work. I still do. Sometimes larger miniatures, sometimes props, sets, art department stuff. And then I found myself at Little Canada. And so I enjoyed 6 wonderful years helping them when they were in their temporary space out of Mississauga, and then getting them to Toronto, finishing the build, getting open. And, that's where I learned about 3D printing and laser cutting and just being around so many creative individuals. It was just so great to soak up everything that was going on there. And, and then I got excited about doing other things. So I have my own space, and so I'm offering 3D printing services and laser cutting and engraving services, and some sort of up for anything. And so I went freelance in March. And so just slowly building a network and having some interesting things come my way and just having a great time.
You're one of the few people that I've met in the last 2.5 years doing this, where you are actually a miniaturist by trade. So most people sort of intersect with mini prints, because they have a model railroad as a hobby. You make your living from being a miniaturist, which is fascinating. You are building for a living.
Yes. And it's an interesting thing and I think, Bernard, you can speak to this, when your hobby becomes your job. And so I think my dad gets a little bit impatient waiting for me to come back and work on the model railway with him. But, he's away right now, so I'm making it up to him this week and bringing some interesting things into his railway. So, there is that, work becomes your hobby, but, it's so great to be able to do that every day. I'm very fortunate to have a creative job. And it's a lot of very small pieces to keep track of, but, it's been a really great year so far.
Yeah, Trackside Mike is asking, Spencer, do you have a link or somewhere that people can go to learn a bit more about you or see your work?
Absolutely, great question. So I'm most active on Instagram, and and then I also have a website, a couple of websites, because I try to keep my miniature work a little bit separate from my laser cutting, so the services, everything are a little bit more cleanly defined. So I can pop those links in somewhere.
Instagram. What is your handle on Instagram if people want to check you out?
It is Miniature Spencer.
And that's all one word, all lowercase?
You got it.
All right. So check out Miniature Spencer on Instagram. And I spelled Instagram wrong, but I did spell Miniature Spencer right, so it's in the chat.
close.
And what about a website where people can go and sort of see about your services?
So my personal site is just my name, www.spencerbarclay.com.
Okay.
And then my business is called Loading Dock Productions, but there is no K in the dock because it's about documenting, so people have misspelt it for 10 years. So it's just, a good lesson in branding. But this is the logo. And you might have seen in one of the slides that Bernard posted that I've always been interested in loading docks, not the trains, not the trucks, but the hole in the building where all the stuff gets delivered. So, it's sort of like nature photographers getting excited about the watering hole.
And that's loadingdockproductions.com, right?
You got it.
All right. So I put that up in the chat too. So let's go back to that embarrassingly young image of you, which you were very kind to share. Whoops, let's add it back in. Okay. So there you are with, how old are you wearing your Spider-Man outfit there?
I'm probably 6 to 8 years old.
And what in the world attracts a 6-year-old to a loading dock?
It was just, we would go grocery shopping and we'd go around the back and, where every beer store, I was too young to drink, but the beer store always had a really prominent loading dock right on the front of the building. And thanks Wigwag Workshop for the follow. So, it was just part of the grocery shopping experience, or dining out, going to Harvey's and looking across, going to the beer store and checking out the loading dock. But I think that they're just sort of fascinating, purely function. There's no ornamentation, there's no painting. It's just, it does what it does, and the material's there because it's serving a specific purpose. So I just want to say to everybody, if anybody has seen that Sealand truck that is in that photo, I cannot find it anywhere. And it is not any brand name. It is some, from overseas, and it's metal and plastic. But if anybody knows any leads on that, I would greatly appreciate it. It is my white whale.
Accepting bids? Is that Rosebud?
Anything, blood, donations, anything.
Well, I have to give you some praise because you are by far, I shouldn't say the most. I want to say the most talented modeler I've ever met. Actually, I think I could probably say the most I've ever met. But you're certainly one of the most talented modelers I've ever seen. And the work you do is absolutely spectacular. I was just looking at this scene that you're pictured at here at Little Canada, and your work is just absolutely spectacular. Tell us a little bit about your philosophy, the way you work, why you do what you do. Give us a little sort of insight into the loading dock mind of Spencer.
Absolutely. So there was a time before reference photos and a time after, and I can't say more, about the impact of the real world and going and taking photos, things, and understanding weathering and poor renovations. There's the world is so much more interesting than our imaginations, and to go out and to capture that and to go around your own neighborhood and see the garage that's tilted at the right angle, or taking memories from, a childhood diner that you went to, or, a playground that's not there anymore. So it's always based on a real world example, and then take that and try to duplicate it as realistically as possible. But as I've gotten older, I like to make people laugh, and I really enjoy doing something that's so gritty and realistic, but it has a bit of whimsy, and it has fun colors, and it has a joke, and and to see how people respond to that, especially at Little Canada, was very satisfying. So I take hundreds of photos of things that I'm thinking about doing, and the pieces that were in the shot of me in the gallery, that's born from many walks with my wife around Toronto, and lots of photos, and just compiling them and letting them just kind of float around in my brain, and then it eventually comes out in, okay, what kits do I have, and okay, this is going to represent this memory in this photo, and so it's an interesting process. It's not fast all the time, but it's representative of me and where I've been and what I've seen.
Now, one of my personal heroes is Adam Savage. I absolutely love his work. I love watching him. I've learned from him. And when I first walked into your studio, I felt like this was the closest I'll ever get to being in his cave. I mean, not only have you created a really inspiring and fun space, but it's an incredibly functional space. And I've got you on full screen. I don't know if you can move the camera around or whatever, but I just want people to see your space, because it's what I want my space to be when I grow up. I mean, it's just filled with fun and inspiring, and it's head to toe inspiration. And there's your ceiling, lovely ceiling.
Well, I was showing the Star Wars ship, but
Yeah.
the ceiling's nice
I mean,
too.
there's stuff everywhere, and it's like going into a miniature creative playground. And I just, your space is so inspiring, and I think it says so much about you. And I love your work, sir, and I love
Thank
your
you.
space.
Thank you. Well, I
And
think
I
the
love your
space should
space.
be, you should want to be there, and especially because I'm doing this for work, but like this is also, it's a clubhouse and it's a relaxing space too. And when, you're done with the work, you can turn around and be like, oh, I've been really excited to work on this, or like, all of these objects, all of this film stuff, they used miniatures too. And so you're surrounded by these things that inspire you. And, it should be a place that you want to go to and eventually leave at some point.
So, what are you working on now? Or, I mean, what is exciting you now? What's, oh yeah, show us.
So I have this is the funeral home kit that, oh, here we go. That Downtown Deco made, I think in 2005. And so it's a whole lot of hydrocal. And so I'm slowly doing the shingles and making it as creepy as possible. And so this is for my dad's railway, and so it's always great to get a kit out of the pile and get it done. So this is, couldn't be better timing, being the month of Halloween. So that's the most exciting thing that I have on my desk right now.
Nice. And what does your dad model? You mentioned his railway a couple times. Is he HO scale, I'm assuming?
Yep, HO scale. Yep. Contemporary, but any classic car that he liked from his childhood and growing up also makes it onto the layout. So it's, for him as well, it's a fun hobby, and it doesn't have maybe as many rules as I would apply in terms of hitting a specific decade or worrying about every detail. But he comes down there and that's his moment of zen, and he feels the trains run and anything goes. And so, it's great that he has that, because he works really hard with his writing, and you need something to blow off steam.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't do steam, he does diesel. So,
right.
So yeah, it's, it's sort of contemporary, but it's loose,
Awesome. Any questions for Spencer? Does anybody want to chime in? Any questions, any thoughts? Just seeing you're getting a lot of compliments on the chat.
Thanks everyone. I appreciate the support. It's nice to share.
And it's nice to meet other modelers, and I love working. Oh, here's a good one. When it comes to materials and supplies, what are the things he has to have on hand at all times for his builds? Oh, well, I can share one of them.
Great question.
Yeah, that is a great question. I want to jump in for 1 second with a quick story.
Bernard. Get in there.
Because I don't know if okay, has anyone ever used this before? Has anyone ever used this stuff before? Because it is so incredibly stinky and toxic and horrible. And I am convinced that this bottle is absolutely engineered, scientifically engineered to tip over and spill. I don't think that they could have found a bottle that is more spill likely. So I saw that when I was in Spencer's space that he had 3D printed Let me come out. A beautiful accelerator holder. And this is the Mind Dispenser, because not only is he a brilliant modeler who is obsessed with health and safety, which we all should be, but he makes things to solve problems. I, on the other hand, have been knocking this bottle over for 2.5 years. But he's also an extremely generous person, because when I sort of looked at it and gasped, and I do a lot of gasping when I go into a space and go, oh, you've done that? Oh my God, you've got one of those? He was very kind enough to print me not one, but two. So I have a spare, a backup and a spare, and a spare and a backup. So this is the type of person we're dealing with here. He's organized, and he's inventive, and he's generous. So thank you. And I will never steal this again.
You're welcome. Yeah. So, definitely accelerant, or Instaset, whatever you want to call it. And so super glue is another go-to. I really like the, like a really fast setting epoxy. It's all about trying to get the ideas out and get the work done as quickly as possible. I'm a huge fan of having styrene around, and wood stir sticks you get from Starbucks or a coffee shop, but they're really handy for mixing your epoxy. They stain well, they cut easily, they're perfect to shim. So those are sort of my go-tos. And I got to grab it. They made a black. This is for the glue gun, so it is black glue, and it is more durable. I found it on Amazon. Who knows if the link's still there, but if anybody can find this, it's more durable. It's glossy, but when you've done a bunch of shrubs and stuff, it doesn't pop the same way that your clear glue guns or your carpenter's glue, the one that's a bit yellowy tinged. So this is another one that is a must have. Very strong. Highly recommend.
That's amazing. I've never seen it before. That's actually, you always find the cool stuff. That is amazing. We got a question from Trackside Mike. Any thoughts on laser cutting background prints? I'm assuming like buildings for the background of the layout. Is that right? Is that what you're talking about, Trackside Mike?
Well, if it's paper, it can be cut. If you get your settings just right, you'll reduce the amount of burning that happens around it. So, it can be done. That would save an enormous amount of time. You just have to, I guess, have your cut line prepped, and it's possible. I think that it's a great idea, because that's not a fun job.
Have you ever cut foam core or anything on the laser?
You can't. Foam core is one of the no-nos, but there is foam adjacent that's like safe. There's certain things that when they're heated up either cause like chlorine gas, or they melt and drip, and then they permanently damage the machine. But there are some foams, and like your kind of foam that you'd see like a camera case or something that's specifically cut for an object. And so, there's some things out there that are possible, but it's like, is it easier than just taking a foam knife and just doing your thing? It's like, there's other tools that might do the job too.
So I guess I want to end, and we don't need to end, but I don't want to go on all night, which we really could. Your studio here, let me join you here. Your studio is so much of a playground. I mean, it's filled with wonderful tools that you've made, and other wonderful tools and tips and tricks. Show us a toy. Show us something fun. I know. It's crazy. I know. Grab something. Anything at random even.
So this is the Iron Giant that maybe people know about. And this one, you'd see it on my Instagram, but it walks.
Fantastic.
And light up eyes, doesn't get better than that. Feet are
really doesn't.
Not prototypical, but it works. It doesn't tip over, and it's such a great design. So toys should be fun, and some can be realistic, but this one was too cool not to get.
Man, I tell you, I should probably let my 16 and my 14-year-old loose in there, because I think they would enjoy your studio.
Oh yeah, Yeah, it's fun for everybody.
It's such a creative space. I kind of like, now I'm actually, the funny thing is I've got 2 boxes of mini prints here for you.
Thank you.
Actually, yeah, hold on. I got 2 boxes of inspiration here for you. So maybe I'll come by tomorrow or whenever you're free and drop them off. And you've made me feel that itch to come and play with in your space.
Sounds like a plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on. Really, really inspiring. I love the Meet the Modeler segment because there's so many amazing people doing such great work out there. And, I really appreciate what you've done with the mini prints. I mean, you've really done some spectacular work with those dioramas. I hope that you will enter the Halloween peanut butter lid. I hope that the creative juices, you already have your lid.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited. And you've done so many great products that are perfectly Halloween themed. So, I'm excited. It's try and stop me.
All right. We're going to squeeze in one last question from Sparky. What's your favorite job or build?
You know what? That construction scene at Little Canada, that was it, because I got to go to Spadina and Wellington, the well, that huge build with the company that was doing all the excavations. So we went like 5 stories down into a pit, and they told me how everything worked and explained everything. I got plans for the site, for the build, because it was based on a real location, sort of at Yonge and Gerrard. They had to do a build very carefully over the subway line because it was built only about a sort of a basement's distance from the street. So they had to do a very careful engineering job. So, it was the company was involved. I had the plans. I got to do a field trip, and I love construction sites. I've been sitting watching construction sites since I was 2. So it was like dream come true. Great project, great location on the Toronto destination in Little Canada. So that was absolutely my favorite.
So that's prototypical. That's not made up. That's like you did that from photos.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's very, very close. Yeah.
Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from the amazing mind of Spencer Barclay, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody check out his site. They've been listed. I know that Sparky has put them in the chat, and I put them in the chat, and a few been on screen. So definitely check out Spencer's work. It's incredibly inspiring. If you're in the area and you need any work done, his stuff is amazing. And I know that he is just itching to get his laser up and working on some commercial projects. And I think there'll probably be more coming from our collaborations too. So, we've done the Hangman Gallows. And, if anyone has any other thoughts, definitely, shoot them into the chat or email either of us, and we can put our brains together.
Well, thanks very much, Bernard. And thank you, everyone, for all the kind words and for listening to me talk about myself for at least 20 minutes. So, I really appreciate it. And it was fun to be here. Thanks so much.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.
All right. Bye. Well, that was amazing. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I do. Spencer is he's so inspiring. And, it's one of the things that's so important to me is to partner with, other people in the hobby and to be inspired by them and to hopefully inspire them. And it's this whole community of miniaturists that makes it really fun and exciting. And the same goes for, sort of like the brewery idea. And, like definitely, most of the things, pretty much all the things that have been produced that I shared with you earlier, are collaborations or ideas or people saying, oh, that would be cool. Or, so definitely please do keep the ideas coming and share your thoughts and ideas. So I think that might actually, let me just go back to the presentation and see, that kind of brings us to a bit of a close. Let me see if I can get this back up and let's see where to go. No, all right, maybe this one. There we go. So as always, I like to close with our Facebook and our Instagram pages. I will add in also the YouTube page, which is relatively new. I have to agree, Wigwag, that was a great interview. And I'm always looking for sort of fun and inspiring and interesting Meet the Modelers to bring into the broadcast, because honestly, you don't want to hear me drone on for an hour. Sparky, please definitely get your peanut butter jars tonight. I think 3.5 inch, whatever the standard sort of craft peanut butter lid is. I'm not going to be too crazy about it, but just don't go for the 18-inch lid. I think, Artie, if it's in that 3.5 inch, we will allow some latitude for those down under. Hector, we are doing a fantastic Halloween contest that has to fit inside the lid. And as always, if you did miss it, you can go back and watch it on the rebroadcast. Same with you, Sean. The contest is Halloween themed, and it does have to fit inside a peanut butter jar lid. And I do need to get... Hey, Google, convert 3.5 inches to centimeters.
3.5 inches is equivalent to 8.89 centimeters.
There you go, 8.89 centimeters in Canadian. All right. And so Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for all that's new in the crazy, wonderful, wild world of mini prints. There will be some more Halloween things coming up. Lots of new models in the next couple of weeks, actually, including... I'll give you a quick first look at one that I'm kind of excited about before we sign off. Have you guys seen, and this is going to be fun, have you seen the portable lighting compressors? Not lighting, but they're like generators that have lights attached to them for construction sites. I forget what they're called, but they're basically mobile lighting for construction. So I'm going to work on this model and actually put LEDs right in there. So this will be HO, S, and O scale. I don't think, sorry, we're not going to get it to work in hand, but this is going to be something that you can actually use, if you're modeling, a yard or a construction site or, something along those lines. So that's kind of fun, the mobile lights. And what else is coming up? Oh, gosh. Oh, yeah. Do I have one of these? Where did it go? I'm always misplacing things. But a wicked, I showed you the side of beef, but a wicked weather vane with a train on top. So you've seen the weather vanes that I've put out that have either the rooster, the beef, or the whale on top. Well, I got like sort of a big boy locomotive and put it on top of the weather vane. So there will be a train weather vane. So lots of new stuff coming out. I try and list new stuff every Friday. So definitely, actually, yeah, that is a good idea, Steve. Yeah, and parking lot. Yeah, I think this is going to be an off the charts, that light. I've never seen one available commercially. So hopefully, that's something new and exciting. Yeah, you know what, hun? That's right. My wife has chimed in. That's true. I don't have a horse weather vane. I've got the whale. Yeah, I don't have a horse. Okay, so maybe I'll do horse and train. Oh, horse, iron horse, and horse. Set of weather vanes. There's lots of stuff coming out. Anyway, thanks, everybody. Thanks for spending your time with me. I really appreciate that you came out and supported the channel. Remember, you get free ghosts if you order. Absolutely, hun, iron horse. My wife is getting a horse and I've got an iron horse. So everybody gets free ghosts this weekend until Monday at midnight. And as always, I will end with a big thank you. And I really appreciate that everyone came out and joined tonight. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for coming out. Night, night.